Your reptile has never once been happy to see you. It has no concept of missing you. It does not feel gratitude when you feed it, comfort when you hold it, or loyalty to you in any form. And yet right now, over 5 million Americans keep one as a pet. So what is actually going on inside that ancient brain? And does any of what you do even matter to it? The answer is more interesting than you think. Right now, millions of Americans share their homes with a reptile. Bearded dragons sitting on living room couches, ball pythons coiled up in college dorm rooms, leopard geckos watching their owners from behind glass. It is one of the fastest growing pet categories in the United States, and it makes sense. Reptiles are quiet, they do not shed fur, they do not need daily walks, and honestly, they are fascinating to watch. But here's the thing most new reptile owners do not realize until much later. The way your reptile experiences the world is so fundamentally different from how you experience it, that most of what you assume about your relationship with it is probably wrong. Not harmful, not cruel, just wrong. And once you understand how your reptile actually perceives reality, you become a much better keeper. That shift in understanding is also what separates owners whose animals merely survive from those whose animals genuinely thrive. Your reptile does not experience life the way you do. It does not process the world through emotion the way a dog does. It does not run toward you because it missed you. Its brain is built around survival, and survival only. Food, warmth, safety, threat. That is basically the whole list. Take vision. Many reptiles see colors you cannot see at all. Bearded dragons and many lizards can detect ultraviolet light. That means the spectrum of their world is literally wider than yours. On the other hand, most snakes have relatively poor eyesight and rely far more on heat sensing and tongue flicking to build a picture of their environment. When your ball python flicks its tongue in your direction, it is not being curious, it is collecting chemical data. It is reading you like a molecular signature. Then there is body temperature. Reptiles are ectothermic, which means they rely on their environment to regulate their body heat. This is not a flaw. It is a deeply sophisticated system. But it also means that when your reptile is cold, its brain is literally running slower. Decision-making, digestion, stress response, all of it is tied directly to temperature. This is why getting your temperature gradient exactly right is not optional. It is the foundation of everything else. A reptile that is too cold is not calm. It is suppressed. There is a difference. This is the question everyone wants answered, and researchers have actually studied it. The honest answer is, it depends on the species and it depends on what you do. To most reptiles, you are primarily a thermal object and a potential threat that has been downgraded over time. That downgrading is called habituation. When you first bring a bearded dragon home, its stress hormones spike every time you reach into the enclosure. Over weeks and months of calm, predictable handling, those stress hormones decrease. The animal is not bonding with you the way a dog bonds. It is learning that you are not dangerous. That sounds cold, but it is actually a real and meaningful shift. Some research suggests certain species, particularly bearded dragons, may go further than simple habituation. There is evidence they can distinguish between individual humans, show preferences for familiar people over strangers, and even display something that functions like a relaxation response when handled by someone they recognize. Is that love? Probably not in the way you feel it. Is it a real and measurable preference? Yes. Snakes are generally on the lower end of the social spectrum. Most snake species are solitary ambush predators in the wild and have very little need for social recognition. Your ball python is not going to seek you out for comfort. But a well-habituated snake will tolerate handling with low stress, which in the context of that animal's biology is genuinely good welfare. Understanding reptile perception immediately reveals why so many popular reptile keeping habits are actually problematic, handling too soon. When you bring a new reptile home, its stress system is in overdrive. Everything is unfamiliar. The smells, the temperature, gradients, the sounds. Reaching in to hold it right away feels natural to you, but to the animal, it is a predator attack on top of an already overwhelming situation. Most experts recommend a minimum 2-week settling-in period with no handling and minimal disturbance. Interpreting stillness as contentment. Reptiles that are cold, unwell, or deeply stressed often just freeze. They go still and flat. In the wild, this is a survival strategy. Many owners mistake this for a calm, happy animal. Watch for active thermoregulation, normal feeding responses, and alert body posture as signs of genuine well-being. A reptile that eats consistently, moves between warm and cool zones on its own schedule, and explores its enclosure is showing you exactly what good health looks like. Keeping species together that should be alone. The reptile trade in America has created a culture of community tanks that does not match the biology of most species. Leopard geckos, ball pythons, bearded dragons, none of these are naturally social. Co-housing them creates chronic, low-grade stress that suppresses immune function, shortens lifespan, and reduces quality of life, even when you never see obvious fighting. If reptiles do not bond the way mammals do, can you still build a meaningful relationship? Absolutely. It just works differently. Consistency is everything. Your reptile's nervous system is pattern matching all day long. Feeding at the same times, handling with the same calm movements, maintaining stable temperatures. All of this builds a predictable world that reduces stress hormones over time. You are not earning love. You are earning the classification of safe. Let the animal initiate when possible. If you open the enclosure and your bearded dragon walks toward your hand, that is a meaningful behavioral signal. If it presses into the corner, that is also a signal. Reptiles communicate constantly through body language. Learning to read it transforms your relationship from one-sided to genuinely interactive. Enrichment matters more than people think. Reptiles in the wild make decisions constantly. Hunt, hide, thermoregulate, explore. A barren enclosure removes all of that cognitive engagement. Adding hides, climbing structures, varied textures, and occasional novel objects gives the animal's brain something to do and produces measurably lower stress levels. Even small changes, like a new piece of cork bark, rearranging the layout, or introducing a foraging opportunity, can reset exploratory behavior and keep your animal mentally engaged for days. When you stop trying to make your reptile into a scaled dog and start meeting it on its own terms, something interesting happens. You get better at observing. You notice the subtle color shifts, the postural changes, the feeding behavior patterns. You start to understand an entirely different form of animal intelligence. One that has been refined over hundreds of millions of years. Long before mammals existed, reptiles were already mastering survival on this planet. Your bearded dragon may never look at you and feel the rush of attachment a Labrador feels, but it can live a long, low-stress, behaviorally rich life with you. It can learn that you are safe. It can thrive under your care. In watching that happen, understanding the biology behind it, that is honestly one of the most rewarding things about keeping reptiles. If this changed how you think about your reptile, subscribe. There is a lot more where this came from. Drop your reptile species in the comments. See you in the next one.